Hello! Right, this is it. This is a video I've been looking forward to making for months, actually. If you watched my last video, which was my first ever vlog post, where I spontaneously went to see Maximum the Hormone, then I will have explained at the beginning of that. Now, I've been looking forward to making vlog videos for quite a long time, since 2018, actually. And I was psyching myself up to do this one for a long time because it's going to be a huge weekend. Firstly, one weekend, 4 big American bands. We're seeing Fall Out Boy, Weezer, Green Day and Red Hot Chili Peppers. 3 of those we've already seen, but one of them features my favourite ever living guitarist, John Frusciante, coming back in. So it'll be my first time seeing that. Something I've waited pretty much the past 20 years to see, if I'm honest. Green Day was my wife and I's first concert together, and we've got a lot of special memories of that particular one. We're really looking forward to seeing them again. Weezer, I loved last time we went to see him. My wife, on the other hand, was extremely ill. So it's going to be nice seeing Weezer together, actually. And as far as Fall Out Boy are concerned, it's not a band that I thought when I was younger that I'd want to go see, but they actually have had some good output over the past couple of decades. So a bit of a calm down after Maximum Hormone. I still have bruises all over me. I still have strange aches and pains. I've got some sort of torsion thing going on the side of my hand here. But yeah, I'm really excited about this weekend. It's been a bit of a nightmare. I'll talk about that a bit more when I'm actually on the train and I can rule out that we're not going to have any more issues. Now, make no mistake, it is a miracle. Well, not even a miracle, because that would suggest some sort of divine intervention. It's only down to sheer grit, determination, forward planning, and a little bit of help from my family that we've even been able to get on this train today and afford to come. Won't go into too much detail, but the logistical and financial difficulties have been insane this week. And yesterday there were a few times where we were wondering if we were even going to be able to come today. Not only that, but if you're unaware, there's been these massive rail strikes. So the fact that I'm even able to sit on a train this week is it's been difficult. There have been no trains for 2 of the days this week already, anywhere in the country as far as I can work out. And the days where the trains are running, they are massively disrupted. Anyway, we're going to get to London, my wife and I, and we're going to check into our hotel, and then when I'm there, I will go through and discuss my thoughts on this evening, basically, what I think this evening's going to be like. Right, see you in a bit. So we've actually got plenty of time, so we thought why not catch a bus, seeing as we get nice views from up here. But yeah, the traffic is horrendous. Right, so we're here in the hotel. It's a pokey little affair, but that's kind of how I like it in London. Everything's very compact and sort of just the space is used really economically. Literally, it's not much bigger than the room I film in at home. Sort of show you around. That's basically it. There's the window. And then sort of bed area slash kind of my sort of personal or office area, I guess, or studio for this. So, as I said, I'm going to give some thoughts as to kind of what I'm expecting of the show tonight. 2 bands out of the 3 headliners we've already seen before, that is Weezer and Green Day. Following the support act they've got, which is this Australian rock band called Emil and the Strippers, which I don't know what to expect from, to be honest. We've got Weezer up first, and these guys have been around for so long, and there's a lot that I like in their back catalogue, and there's a lot that I don't like quite as much. And I'm just really happy to be seeing them again, and more than that, I'm looking forward to seeing them with my wife, who was so ill last time. Then we've got Fall Out Boy, which is, when I was younger, like I say, it wasn't a band that I would have thought that I needed to go see, but I'm not unhappy to be seeing them. I reckon it's going to be a really good show from them. Their sound has really developed from the early days, sort of Thanks for the Memories, sort of transformation from that up to Centuries is a very big sort of change, and the only thing that's remained constant throughout is the voice of Patrick. He's very much kept a signature with that. And then of course there's the headliners, or the main headliners shall I say, which are Green Day. I've heard from my wife that some people have actually come in specifically just for Green Day. That said, Green Day have been known to do amazing shows. They were really good last time we saw them. There was a massive set list, went on for about 25 to 30 songs at the Emirates Stadium. I think they even brought a fan up on stage at one of their recent gigs, and he came away with a guitar. Yeah, Green Day are going to be such a force, because they always are. Regardless what you think of pop punk or punk, the impact of a Green Day show live is undeniable. So this is going to be a very good night. I'm very much looking forward to this, and I will pass the phone over to my wife to get some nice shots of the show itself, and then I'll check back with you for sort of a post-gig sort of debrief afterwards, and I'll see you for that in a bit. Okay, so the plan had been to come back and give you a debrief about how the Hella Mega Tour went, but it was such a nightmare getting out of the stadium for reasons I'll explain, and we ended up getting it back around about, I want to say, 1:30, maybe 2 o'clock. By the time everything settled down and I would have been ready to record again, it was gone 2 o'clock. I thought I'll do it tomorrow. So first off, it was challenging enough just to get to London, just to get to the show, just to get everything ready together, to get the money together. Fortunately, we booked this hotel that we're in right now months ago, as well as booking obviously the Hella Mega Tour tickets about 30 months ago, like literally 2019. Fortunately, we even booked the train tickets a few weeks in advance. So yeah, when I say we arrived late to the show, it wasn't out of disrespect to any of the bands. Normally I like to get to shows early, get myself settled in, get myself t-shirts, my merch, whatever, and then see the support act. There was a band called Amil and the Sniffers. When we were approaching the stadium, they were already fully into their set, and by the time we got into the stadium and we're just heading down the stairs, they were literally coming to the end of their last song. So I barely saw them, but from what I did see of them, it was pretty good heavy rock. Then, sort of, between half an hour to 40 minutes between sets, Weezer came on. If I had to say the thing that I loved the most about Weezer would be how effortless they made everything seem. They had a really good mix in their set list between sort of old and new. I'm very familiar more with like the Blue album and their big hits. I keep thinking I want to hear more from Weezer because I actually do like them a lot. They really wear their influences on their sleeve. The other day actually I was trying to figure out about Weezer what their kind of style was. It has like a youthful vibe to it, but it's not very sort of based in grunge or pop punk, and I really struggled with this. And then I realised that they actually do clearly signpost what their influences are on the Blue album. It's a lot of it is Kiss, so it's proper like rock and roll kind of rock, I guess. They really wore their influences on their sleeve. They played Africa by Toto, they played Enter Sandman by Metallica. They did good jobs on these songs as well. The whole thing seemed very relaxed. There was one bit I quite liked with Island in the Sun, and Rivers' guitar just completely cut out on him, and then he tried getting another guitar before it began, and same thing again, and he's like, I can't do this without a guitar, and he's chatting to the audience and such, and it got to a point where it had been so long, he's like, forget it, I'm just going to go ahead, and he got the audience singing the chords, which was quite good. So the audience is singing the chords, and he's just singing it with the backing guitar and the bass and the drums, no sort of lead guitar. And someone ran on and gave him a guitar right around the time of the second chorus, and he didn't play anything, and then just sort of kicked in and sort of went with a bit of a leap of faith, I guess, in his technician that the guitar was going to work right for the guitar solo. So, like I say, the whole thing with Weezer was that they were so everything was so seamless and relaxed. Then we had Fall Out Boy. A lot of people were there for Fall Out Boy and Green Day, more so than Weezer. I personally prefer Weezer to Fall Out Boy. The whole emo rock thing that happened in the sort of mid-2000s, I liked bits of it, but I wasn't as obsessed with it as other people were. There are My Chemical Romance songs I like. There are Fall Out Boy songs I really like. I love how Fall Out Boy's sound has kind of developed over the past 2 decades, while at the same time you can always hear that it's Fall Out Boy because of the singing. Patrick has a very distinctive voice, kind of got a high range that's also very controlled and operatic. When he sang low at one point while playing piano, I thought this is very Elton John though. But their set was very, I think theatrical is the best way to describe it. They had multiple sort of stagings going on, and when they sort of ended on the last couple of songs, they really gave a tone for how the night was going to progress with like fireworks and such. Pete Wentz also mentioned in a little speech, which I'm hoping I'll be able to find and put up here, there were 75,000 people in the stadium last night.
I guess when they ask if rock music is back, 73,000 fucking people in London are saying fuck yes.
The biggest concert I'd been to in terms of numbers before this was 65,000 at the Emirates Stadium, well, for this actually, for Green Day in 2013. So once again, seeing Green Day there with an extra 10,000 people, yeah, that would explain why it took so long to get back last night. Then the headline act of the whole night, you could say, was Green Day. I actually heard from my wife that there were people who specifically bought tickets for this show, and they only wanted to arrive when Green Day were playing, which I think is a bit of a diss, but that's not for me to decide. I mean, if you want to waste your money and not have 3 great American bands plus one apparently pretty good Australian band no, I didn't get to see, that's your own fault. But Green Day proved undeniably why they were like the main event of the show. Billie Joe Armstrong is as good as, in terms of his front man abilities, in terms of his entertainment, in terms of his projection, in terms of his demeanour on stage, he is every bit as good as, say, Freddie Mercury was. With Green Day, even if you're not into pop punk, you cannot deny how good of a frontman Billie Joe Armstrong is. From the Drunk Bunny at the beginning, right through to sort of controlling the crowds, singing, the little jokes, the ridiculous costumes, the sort of energy they bring, getting people up on stage. These are all staples of a typical Green Day gig. And I say a typical Green Day gig very tentatively. My wife put it in an interesting way actually. She said every time you see Green Day, and she's seen them 3 times now, it feels like the first time you've seen them. It's like you know what to expect. You've seen Green Day before, or you've seen them before even like on a live DVD, and you know what's going to happen. You know what it's going to be like. But he always brings something new, something unexpected. And he literally stopped the song at one point. I can't remember which song it was. He stopped the song just halfway through. He just laughed and just said, like, how the fuck did we get to this? There were 75,000 people in front of me. How the hell did this happen, kind of thing. Green Day are such a force, and this is a concert and it's going to be replaying in my head for months. I think most people will never forget last night, unless they were completely off their faces. Now, I never mentioned the reason why I'm seeing 4 bands this weekend is actually kind of an interesting one. As I mentioned earlier, we booked the tickets for Hella Mega Tour back at the end of 2019. Yeah, it's been a long time, nearly 3 years to get to that concert. But in the interim, between booking those tickets and then, like, you know, everything else that happened, at the end of 2019, at the very end of 2019, the last few days of 2019, something very special happened. I'm going to make a video at some point down the line, probably within the next year or so, about my favourite guitarists. One who is deceased as of a couple of years ago, and that's Peter Green. And the other one, still alive, biggest influence on my guitar playing, on the way I approach music, on the way I think about music, or at least I like to think so, is John Frusciante. I saw the Chili Peppers with my wife, and they had Josh Klinghoffer, which wasn't at all bad. I think that Josh Klinghoffer was brilliant for the Chili Peppers. In The Getaway in particular, that album they did with Josh Klinghoffer feels like a classic Chili Peppers album to me. So it's no diss to Josh on that, but I am so much looking forward to seeing them with John Frusciante. I've literally waited about 20 years to see John Frusciante play, I discovered Chili Peppers back in 2002, around about the time By the Way came out. And it's one of my all-time favourite bands. My favourite living guitarist. And I'm absolutely stoked for this one in particular. Is it going to be as big as last night? Is it going to be as crowded? I have no idea. They're performing for 2 nights here, so maybe they're going to split the crowdedness of it a little bit. I have loved what they've been doing with their set lists. I don't tend to make a habit of looking at set lists because a lot of the time they tend to be quite the same show to show, and it's like you get too much of an idea of what's already going to be played. But I saw an article talking about the Chili Peppers set list on their first night in Europe, and it was a bit like tame. Since then, however, I decided to keep an eye on their set lists, and they continue to get better and better. The definition of what I mean by that, a good Chili Pepper set list is one that covers more of their albums. The gig they did very recently, I think it was in Slovakia, was one of the best set lists I've seen of theirs when I've ever looked at past set lists of Chili Peppers, with Uplift, Mofo, Party Plan and Freaky Styley thrown into the mix. So I'm really hoping we're going to get something like that tonight. I will have to wait and see. Basically, I have actually no idea. I've kind of got a feel for what the first few songs are going to be. And then after that is complete guesswork. I will try and get back here for a reasonable time and give you a debrief, a sort of overview of how the show went, like this one. And if not tonight, then it will be tomorrow. I'll see you for that. Okay, sticking to my promise, this is my sort of debrief on how the Chili Peppers show went. First off, I don't know what's happening this weekend, but we keep running late for these concerts. We actually arrived there today before any of the support acts came on. There was one called Thundercat and another one called Anderson .Paak and the Free Nationals, I think it was. I was in a queue for about, I don't know, felt like maybe 40 minutes for a t-shirt. And I'm right near the front of the queue when I can hear in the stadium behind me, or to the side of me, the first support act, which I guess was Thundercat, started. By the time I finally get the t-shirt and head into the stadium and get through the gates, Thundercat has already just wrapped up his set. From what I could hear of it, it sounded kind of interesting, sort of pop rock with a sort of male falsetto. That's all I could really understand of it. It's kind of interesting, kind of very contemporary sound. This is juxtaposed with the support act that we did see, which was Anderson .Paak. Anderson .Paak was... I wasn't expecting much from it, to be honest. I'd read, it was, sort of R&B and funk influence. But the first thing you need to know about Anderson .Paak is he is a drummer. And because of that, because there's that focus on the drumming, it's not very repetitive with the same kind of drum loops and such. In fact, it's actually really quite exciting, and it goes in a lot of different areas. Some of it, does cross over into hip hop, and some of it is more like sort of R&B in the style of early 90s Michael Jackson. But the sort of middle ground, the sort of whole thing about Anderson .Paak is very 70s, very sort of Stevie Wonder. If you like Stevie Wonder, then Anderson .Paak is definitely someone to check out. Anderson .Paak and the Free Nationals. Really good live. I don't know how I would feel about it on recording, but live it's one of those things where it just has a whole other energy. It's like I saw the Kaiser supporting Green Day back in 2013, and they were bloody amazing. I bloody loved them, and I didn't think I would. So then there was the Chili Peppers. This, like I said earlier, as you can see, I'm actually wearing the Getaway t-shirt because we did see the Chili Peppers with Josh Klinghoffer in 2016. I've waited literally since I was about 13 years old, so 20 years now, to see John Frusciante, and it was glorious. I won't exactly go into detail about how John Frusciante has influenced my guitar playing right now. I'm going to save that for a future video, but when I was learning to play guitar, I had another friend called Nick who was learning how to play bass. And we started getting pretty good at it after a while, or at least passable. And he really wanted to emulate Flea. He was a massive fan of Flea. I was a massive fan of John Frusciante. And we had this DVD, or he had this DVD, of Live at Slane Castle. One of those monumental kind of once in a lifetime gigs. And we used to watch this on repeat and try and follow along with him playing on the bass and me playing on guitar. Since then, it's always kind of been that sort of golden Chili Peppers gig. This for me was the closest thing to seeing the Chili Peppers live at Slane Castle that I will ever achieve. There was so much energy to it, actually.
Certain highlights for me include Emmett Remus. I was really hoping they would play that, seeing as we were in London.
Another highlight of the show would have been Nobody Weird Like Me. But really, actually, some of those big hits that usually are just the kind of formulaic ones, By the Way and Californication and Give It Away, and the crowd was just eating it up. Definitely a very lively, upbeat kind of vibe, just a little bit laddie, I think. But yeah, seeing John Frusciante playing live, like, there's no diss to any other guitarist who's ever been with the Chili Peppers, but John Frusciante is the piece of the puzzle that is essential to their sound. I'm really happy with how this weekend has gone, considering that I didn't think we'd get here. It's been monumental. The experience will be fully up here for probably my entire life, and so yeah, now I'm just looking forward to the next show I've got, which will be much later on this year, hopefully, if you're watching this, and you recognise me, then feel free to say hi if you ever see me at a show in the future. And if you're into sort of me discussing music and talking about music generally, as well as perhaps seeing some covers afterwards, then check out my DRC series, that's Discuss, Review, Cover, as the name suggests. If you want to ask me about anything from the shows, or you want to talk about one of the bands I mentioned in this video, then let me know in the comments. Let me know if you were at this show, or last night's show, at the Hella Mega Tour. Perhaps you'll see in Chili Peppers tomorrow, when we will have already headed home, which is the Sunday. Who knows what kind of set list they're going to have. It seems to really change between shows. So yeah, let me know how that goes if you end up at that and you've seen this video. And with that said, have a good night, or whatever time it is. I'm about to turn in now, so see ya.